I'm sure most of you have enjoyed a nice cookie before. Maybe dunked in milk or I don't know. No. No. I want you to bear with me here. Turn that into a bunny. Cookie and Cake is a webcomic I started in 2022, going all the way to 2025. It follows these strange cookie resembling bunny twins and their adventures. These characters have grown a lot since I first created them, and I'd like to share them with the world with you guys. Now, I would love to go into detail about the first iterations of these characters, but their personalities were pretty much shallow, so I'm gonna talk about them when they actually have a shred of an actual personality. Cookie, or at least his original variant, is a sarcastic but lazy bunny who, despite not really wanting to, has to save the world from gods, like literal gods, creators of the universe. So like this, that. He cares a lot for his friends and mostly his sister, Cake, who will be introduced later on in the video. You'll just have to wait and see for that. To defend the world he lives in from danger, he's been given special powers from a god. Gotta elaborate more on that later in the video, much like Cake. In this universe, the specification will play a very small hand in the other universe I have of this. Cookie's powers are ingrained into his body in a way. Here's a basic rundown of his powers and abilities. He has superhuman endurance and physical strength, especially when defending someone he cares about. He's not all muscle though. Cookie uses strength when it counts. He holds back until the situation forces his hand. He's fought world-ending threats and even gods, which I'll elaborate more on later. He sometimes has bursts of speed. While he's not always fast, he's no Flash or Sonic the Hedgehog, Cookie can move with surprising agility when needed, especially in emotional, high-stakes fights. He's also quite powered by determination. The more determined Cookie is to protect someone or stop something unjust, the stronger and more focused he becomes. Despite how lazy and sarcastic he can be, he's quite charitable in certain circumstances. Cookie's sister, Cake, is a more laid-back and casual bunny. She has the potential to do some of the things that Cookie can do, maybe even more, but it's all bound to this magical wand she was gifted at the time of her creation. Cake has this special bond where she can tell everything about Cookie, but try not to think about it too much. Eventually she grows angel wings. Yeah, never gonna elaborate on that later. No, seriously, I'm never gonna elaborate on. Duncan is the odd one out of the siblings, being that he disappeared one day during his childhood and went off to hide in some other planet. I'm gonna elaborate on the planet later, much like everything else in this video. He found solace in befriending the people he came across on this planet who didn't think he was there to terrorize it. And also he can float for some reason. Never gonna elaborate why, never gonna elaborate how. He can just float. It's best if I keep that a mystery. In another planet not too far out in the grand scheme of things, there's another species called hybrids, which are usually, like the name implies, hybrids of two or more animals from the planet we live in now. They're not actually hybrids of those animals, they're just aliens that just look kind of like those animals. You get the point. In this planet, Maxley was born into a fairly wealthy family And by fairly wealthy, I mean literally the most rich people on the planet. That's why her father was elected to be the mayor of the whole planet, because he's the richest person on that planet. He has literal golden grass. This led to Max being bullied at the school she went to because, like, how do I put this? Why would a rich person be going to school? Like, I don't know about you, but the richest person in their conceivable world going to school, now that's just wacky, but actually needs the education, but people don't understand that. Ever since she was a kid, Maxley was always so fascinated by aliens and that whole concept, so when she met Cookie, she was fascinated by him. I actually almost forgot to mention that Max is a combination of a bunny and a red panda. While people may think she's a combination of a bunny and axolotl because of the colors, that is not the case. Another side of the planet Pav, by the way, its full name is Planet Pavonia, but nobody really says that in the species. So on another side of Pav, Kofi was born. Kofi is a cat and a panda hybrid. And now I'm just noticing, looking at this, that I forgot the stripes on her cheeks. I'm just gonna put up a new picture. Kofi was very often bullied for being short. Yeah. But she had a hobby in making, like, popsicles and stuff. It was actually during this younger part of their lives that Maxley and Kofi met. They both met because Kofi was selling popsicles. Yeah, that's basically it. Since they had similar childhoods, they dealt with being bullied differently. Maxley started socializing less with the world, and ultimately developed social anxiety, which isn't really helped by the fact that her dad is a very public figure. Kofi handled it by shutting herself out from society and never interacting at all, unlike Maxley, who often interacted with people in town that didn't know she was the daughter of, like, a billion trillionaire or something. Next character is Aki. He's blind. That's it. He's blind. And also he's pretty good at technology, I should mention that, because at the time Cookie lost his arm, which would regrow back, so Aki made a robotic arm, which I have no idea how he did if he's blind, but it's best not to question things when it comes to this stuff. Now we're on the unimportant characters and or dead. Let's go. Honey, spelled with a U, is Cookie's roommate, I guess. Yeah, anyways, Phil was also a roommate, but he's dead. Now, this won't make sense with the current lore of the characters, but this is Juhu Baker. She was the original baker of Cookie, Cake, and Dunkin'. She died. She got assassinated. This is the guy who turned Cookie into a bunny. He went insane and became a villain. It's not known if he is dead or alive. This is literally just a scribble. His name is Caleb, and he's just a scribble. He's Cookie and Cake's pet scribble. He is literally a scribble. Nobody knows where he came from. Nobody knows why he's here, but he's here. This is the father of Maxley. I don't feel like elaborating more on that. I'm just not gonna elaborate more on that. This is Margin. But you could just pronounce it Margin. He is kind of the... Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. He is literally just one of the gods of the world I'm talking about. Not this world, but he cloned our world to make this. Okay, this is confusing, but he cloned our world to make a new world, which is where Cookie and Cake takes place. His sister, now, which could just be pronounced Dawn, is the one who gave Cookie and Cake their powers to protect the world from her older brother, Margin. You see, Dawn tries to preserve the safety of the world, while Margin keeps trying to destroy it. Nobody knows why Margin keeps trying to destroy it. Maybe he's just not a good person, but Dawn, she's here to help out. Now for the current versions that I've mentioned about twice. Cookie Baker. I've mentioned this last name before. Baker comes from Juhu, which is a character from, like, I'd say a few minutes before this. But Cookie is actually born in this universe instead of created. That's pretty much the only difference. And also he has these little freckles. That's cool. Yeah. I am really hoping this is the version of Cookie you guys become familiar with. Because, you know, comparing this design to the old one, I like this one better. Oh, also, his powers are bound to this star he wears. His sister, Cake, is almost the same exact deal, but Cake, as it specifies here, loves adventure and snow. She calls, when she makes snow with her wand, she calls it hyperbroviating. Nobody knows what that means. Nobody... See, do you know what that means? What are you talking about? What is hyperbroviating? What is that? See? Not even the me from across the room even knows what that means. Duncan is the same old thing. Actually, it specifies that he loves knitting. I forgot to specify that in the other universe. Blah blah blah. Mostly just a design change. Blah blah blah. Design change. Blah blah blah. What? Hold up! They're not orphans? If you paid attention, you would know that you said that earlier. Were you not paying attention to what you were just saying? Man, shut up. I don't even know why I hired you to be an editor. I could just edit my videos myself. Though then again, since you're me, I am editing my videos myself. Anyways, more context will be needed. I can't go into depth about everything about this alternate universe because not everything is finished. Here's the father. Yep. Wait a second. He's missing an eye. And the scientist who made the original Cookie into a bunny is also missing an eye. And Skittle has Skittles in her hair, so... And Juhu also had Skittles in her hair. Are they? Anyways, here's Cookie and Cake as babies. And also there's their aunt. I'm not going to go into detail about that. there's a lot there that you don't want to know. And also in both universes, Kofi is adopted by an owl, deer, and a kangaroo thing. I can't see any other animals in that. I think it's just a kangaroo. I didn't even know that was possible. Wait, how would I know if I create? Here is Maxwell's mother, who is a hamster mixed with I think a raccoon. Or actually just a red panda like Maxwell is, but... And the rules of this alien species are kind of finicky. Who would have thought that the rules of something we can't even comprehend is finicky? Oh well. In a world parallel to our own, where the grass is greener and the sky is pink, there's another world where an artist, much like myself, with decisions made that are different, and different things led to different other things. You know, I'm just not gonna explain this universe. In this other universe, there was someone, much like myself, who created a webcomic in 2022. But it wasn't really a webcomic, it was more of a manga. In this alternate universe, apple cider was created instead of cookie. But you could just call her Apple for short. Yeah, it's not like you call your friends their full legal name all the time, but some of you do. Who am I to judge? Apple is almost a one-to-one copy of Cookie, except she's a red panda. And I'm not actually sure about this, but I think she's like an apple cider donut. I just chose the name. It would be weird if she was just literally an apple. Anyways, she likes singing Japanese songs and likes eating grapes. Yes. She's pretty lazy, but not really sarcastic. Just shy. Here's another example of this alternate universe where Maxwell instead turns into a guy who is a raccoon fused with I think he's just fused with a red panda again. But then again, I might be wrong about that. I might have to check again. But yeah. This is another example of this alternate universe. Actually, I think he might be a raccoon fused with a guinea pig. Who knows? And hey, since I'm sure you've not zoned out or anything, since you've made it this far, I might as well introduce you to me. Bashy64, the lemon dog. There's this rule in my universe where I can't exactly go inside of the universe, or else everyone there would know that I am literally their creator and they would have their brains explode. So I made a disguise for myself for that universe, which is shown here through Bashy, through me. And also, if you got this far, I can't help but wonder, are you subscribed? I'm asking because I kind of need more subscribers to make money off of my work. So it would really help me out if, even for a moment, you were subscribed. Even, like, you can unsubscribe later or whatever, but I kind of really need some way to make money, and I'm not really looking for a job right now, so could you please help me to get to this point? I might make a video on how the worlds exactly work in this, in the grand scheme of this stuff. If I get, say, I want to say 2 likes, but that's too easy, but so 10 likes maybe? And if you made it this far, why not make it to 15 likes? If you want to hear more about the Friday Night Fucking mod I'm making for these characters, I'm only like 25% done, but it should be able to release near or on my birthday, hopefully. I also might just make a video on the Cookie Bun cryptids, which are horror visions of Cookie. Yeah, these exist. And they're going to appear in the mod too. Well, at least one of them is, but I'm thinking about the other ones. Get it to 20 likes and then I'll do this. Remember to subscribe and like the video if you like the video. I'm not forcing you to like the video here, but do it if you want to. I guess I'll see you in a different video I'll make. I don't know when the next video I'm gonna make is gonna arrive soon. Just know I'm trying to make stuff for you guys here in YouTube. Just remember to subscribe and have a good day.